Good morning, y'all. I'm getting ready to put my coat on and head on out to get the barn chores done, and then I got to get several things finished today before the weather turns nasty. We've got a storm rolling in where we're going to get several inches of rain, so I got to get some things taken care of. So I have got to get some plastic over the windows that the original owners of this place cut into the side of our pole barn. That way the rain is not blowing in on any of the hay or anything else. Those are just closed up. It'll be good for that as well, to cut down on drafts through the winter, especially since we'll have some goat kids born this winter. I also have to hopefully get the old chicken coop that we did for the we have for the Brahmas, which is originally an old bunny hutch that is falling apart. Trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to get it out of that run because it's too big to fit through the gate, as well as figure out how I'm going to get the new one into that area for them, so that way they have just a good, their coop, you know, that's nice and solid and draft free for the winter, as well as predator proof, because the one they're in right now is not predator proof. So I'm going to go ahead and hopefully get that done. So this is the bunny hutch Brahma coop that's going to be retired. If you can see, the chicken ladder is falling apart. And the holes in the grid is too small for the poop to go through. It is horribly messy. It is very difficult to clean. You would think if I could have access to the back, but the hinges broke off. This was actually originally a 3 bunny hutch. This compartment, the hinges broke off of. My husband screwed it shut. This one, the hinges are, this one, the hinges are starting to rot off. This one, the hinges did rot off. Now, I mean, could I just go ahead and replace the hinges? Yes, but it also doesn't have shingles on the roof. And like I said, I think my biggest complaint about this thing is it just does not come clean. So it's either going to be just disposed of, or I may try to repurpose it for a quail coop, just if I can get it cleaned out. And then fix the back of it, because then hopefully the way it is with the little 1/2-inch grid on the bottom, the hardware cloth, the quail poop should fall through that, and then I wouldn't have to worry about cleaning quite as much. Okay, so this is probably not the safest, but I'm by myself. Most of the time I'm by myself. My husband's at work, so we're using the tractor, and I'm going to go very slow, and hopefully we can just slide it up over the fence. All right, public safety announcement. That is not the safest way to use your tractor bucket. So I might get a comment on that, so I am well aware of that. I do have weight on the back end of my tractor to keep it from tipping. And thankfully this is not horribly heavy. My main concern wasn't so much as the safety with the tractor. It was more with damaging my fence. Because the coop thing was, the rabbit hutch was already in there before we built the fence around it. So we didn't think that through about removal whenever we did that, which I'm sure a lot of people don't. That one wouldn't be as big of a deal. It's actually, the fence is built next to it, but this one wasn't. So now that I got it out, I'm going to unhook and set my concrete blocks to put my other coop on. I do not know what I would do without this tractor. We bought it actually from my parents. They needed to get a bigger one, so we wound up purchasing it from them, and it has been a lifesaver. My husband works a lot of hours, and that's to help us have this dream of a homestead. So he's not always here, and my boys are in school right now, teenagers at school, and then he's also got wrestling afterwards. So his hours are a little limited in helping. But for something like this, I can put everything on the bucket and take it out there. So I'm not trying to lug everything one piece at a time, or, you know, I mean, I guess I could put the blocks in a wheelbarrow, but how am I going to get the coop out there unless I wiggle it back and forth across ground and take forever? So thankfully I have that. So we've got it up you know, up in the bucket. I'm going to go ahead and take it out there. I'll set the blocks up, and then I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to get this one over the fence and not damage it, because I don't think it'll fit through the gate either. Well, it's in here. It's on the blocks, so that way the bottom doesn't go bad. Last two things I need to do is I'm putting a hook latch on the roof so the wind can't grab it, and putting some bedding in there, and then it'll be all done. There we go. I actually put a little too much, but that's okay. And then what we can actually do is we'll take a broom, or I've got a stiff scrub brush that might even work really well, or a shovel, and we can just scrape them toward the door and then pull them out and dispose of them, so that way I can clean. I sat it here because I can actually, when I want to open the lid and clean or do anything, I can lean it against the other fence, so that way I'm not having to hold it up or prop it up with a piece of wood, and then, you know, something happened and it slam open, slam shut, that kind of thing. We'll go ahead and shut this, and I've got to look and see where I can put a hook and eye, and it's not, you know what, okay, so we're gonna put it right here. I mean, off to the side, that's not exactly you know, ideal. I would have preferred to have put it in the front, but with the overhang on the roof. So what we're gonna do is I have one of these, so I'm gonna put the hook up here, and then the eye in there, so that way I can, and I'll show it to you in just a second, so that way I can latch it and the wind can't grab it. All right, we got the hook and eye on latch on there. Now I don't have to worry about predators being able to get in, or the wind ripping my roof off. So, let's see, I don't know if anybody's in there. And it doesn't unlatch real easy either, which I like, because then it won't wiggle loose. But no, nobody's gone in yet. Well, we'll see. They're pretty curious about it. Now we're getting braver and curious. Got a little pullet sitting up on the door. There's 2 hens investigating the coop. So when I came out to feed the goats this morning, Samson, which is my son Gabe's wether, first, sorry, I have silly goats. First I noticed that there was some areas of diarrhea. Actually, you can see here and there, that's from last night. So I went looking to see who was having an issue and found it to be my son's wether, Samson. Nasty tail. Now, anytime I have an animal exhibiting any signs of not feeling well, diarrhea, lethargy, lack of appetite, anything, the first thing I do is I check their FOMACHA score, which is checking the lower eyelid. And I also take their temperature. He doesn't have a fever. His FOMACHA looks wonderful. His rumen sounds are okay. They're doing fine. So I went ahead and I just dosed him with a probiotic. And his pee, he just peed. It looks normal. It's nice and clear. He's not dehydrated at this point. I'm probably going to go ahead and give him some electrolytes as well and keep an eye on him, because sometimes I have found that, well, not sometimes, but 2 times, I had a goat come down with diarrhea, and 3 days later they had pneumonia. So I'm just going to keep an eye on him. I'm also going to go ahead and go inside and mix up some garlic ginger paste. That's really good for their belly. It's a tummy soother, so it's ginger, garlic, some cayenne pepper, some raw apple cider vinegar, just some really good things that will help his body. But you can see, I mean, he's acting okay. He's being curious and getting into stuff, and he wants to eat. So I've seen him eating some hay. He did have a drink of water. So we're just going to keep a close eye on him for now and just give him a couple things to support his immune system. He could have eaten, you know, something that just upset his belly. If it doesn't clear up, I'll do a fecal just to be sure we're not dealing with coccidia or any type of worm issue, even though his FOMACHA is, you know, looking just fine.